got another mini album to show you. I made a Smashbook out of a Smashbook. So if you watch my completed Smashbook videos, you may have heard me say that the Smashbook got so fat that I just pulled out a bunch of the pages. So I've been sitting on those pages ever since, and I thought I'd use them for another project, but the thing is they're ordered. The way that they make 2-page layouts and they're double-sided means they go in a specific order. So it just seemed like a shame to take them apart. So I decided to just make a new book out of the existing pages. So this book is quite a bit smaller than a traditional Smashbook. It's let's see, about 5 1/4 by about 7 7 1/2, give or take. So I just made chipboard covers and I used my Bind It All to bind it. So it's a black 1-inch ring. And that resolves one of my major issues with the Smashbook, that it didn't have room to expand. I made this one pretty thin on these rings, so it's got lots of room to expand, which makes me very happy. So for the covers, I just used some paper from my stash. This one is Die Cuts with a View. I think it's called chalkboard or like school chalkboard or something like that. And I loved the little owl on it, so I wanted to use it. And I just used some gesso to write my title in here. I thought Odds and Ends was a good name for it, since that's what I'll be putting in here. And then the back is just the wind blowing a kite. Very cute, very simple, and I just used my Vintage Photo Distress stain to distress the inside of the covers so that they look a little bit more vintage. So my inside covers, kept them really simple. I found a downloadable template of a library pocket, so I just stuck that on the inside, and then I just also printed off some library cards on purple cardstock. I actually made 4, so I've got more if I need them. And I just put that in the front cover. And then I think I'll probably just put like a synopsis of the book. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this. Oh well, I'll put it in later. So then these are just the pages, the Smashbook pages that have been cut down. So I just started with the blank one. The green ones don't perfectly match because I had some pages in the middle that I'd pulled out in the book. This journal card, I think it's Heidi Swap. I'm not sure. It's from a kit I got like a year ago that was all zoo themed cards, and I just have such an obsession with exotic animals that it was on like final clearance. I couldn't resist it. So I barely ever use them, but I thought this one worked here. And then these pages, like I said, they go together because it's a Smashbook. This is a scrap I cut off of one of the bottoms of the pages to get them down to this size. I tried to use a lot of the scraps. I've got this many scraps left. I've got just like a couple of strips and a few of these block pages. And I'll just use those to make embellishments like flags and stuff that I'll put in the book as I go. Some of the pages, 3 of them in fact, I made a pocket out of. So basically instead of cutting off the end of the sheet, I just folded it up, and that makes it into a pocket. And then on the pocket sheets, since they already have the extra layer of cardstock, I also made a tag. So I just cut that out of some, actually a file folder from the file folder journal mini album I made a couple days ago. I just cut out some tags. So these are my orange pages. And then we go into the matchy blue pages. These 2 pages are actually book pages out of the book that I altered. These were some of the ones I removed from the Gospel According to Coco Chanel. I just like the dresses, so I put a couple of those in there. I figure I can alter those as they go. This was cut off of the same sheet as the cover. Off of the same sheet. This was one of the scraps that was left over. Something that's driving me crazy about it, Die Cuts with a View, I'm talking to you, where I took the sticker off, it left a pile of adhesive. So eventually that'll get covered and it won't bug me anymore, but right now it's driving me crazy. And I just love these wood pages. I'm glad I'm finally using them. I threw some journaling cards into the next pair of pages. I don't know who made these. I think they're Project Life. It was tricky to get them to both fit, but I somehow managed because they just like fit perfectly. They gave me the full 7 inches there. The pretty trees. Now I had a few of these pocket, what do they call it? Photo sleeves that I got in my Heidi Swap album that I took apart to make my Photori. So I used a few of them in here, and I just cut a strip off of this paper to reinforce the edges so that I could punch it through my Bind It All, because the Bind It All has trouble with plastic. I find if you put pattern paper over it, it goes a lot smoother. So I can put a 4x4 and 2 2x2s in there. There's a few of those pages in here as well. green pages. I was going through my stuff, and it turns out I have a huge stash of Hello Kitty and Choco Cat and all these like Japanese cartoon stationery that I think they're like 10 years old. I think I've had them forever. So I just threw one of the envelopes in here from Choco Cat. I like the cherries on it. Another pocket page here, and with another shipping style tag. And this actually had a big honking quote here. It said, the more I get more productive, the more naps I take. Something about naps. It was something like that. And it did not fit on the page, so I folded this up to hide the quote. But if you really look in the pocket, you could probably still see. Maybe not. It's pretty well hidden. But there was a quote on that page. I just put I had some acetate that I just had a scrap left of, so I put an acetate page in there. This one's kind of weird, but I'll cover this up because it's just like a deer and like it's just his nose, and over here his butt's upside down. So hopefully those will get covered as they go because they didn't work. Everything else pretty much worked, but these two pages did not. And then I just put a couple sheets of graph papers from my Rhodia graph paper pad. Some leaves. And this is just a coin envelope. I just put a strip of patterned paper on it. It had adhesive on the underside of the flap, so I just put some patterned paper on top of the adhesive as well. And I may put a closure on that. I don't know. We'll see. Just going to decorate it as I go. I wanted just big spots where I can put big pictures. Like the purpose of this book is basically to just catch anything that doesn't fit into my Midori. Like sometimes I can tell the story in the Midori and I can put a picture, but maybe there's some ephemera that's left over, so this is kind of my catch-all for this. I'm actually looking forward to using this. Love this little leaf. We're getting near the end. Here's another one of these photo sleeves. Exact same thing. Still have like 7 of those left, so I'll find uses for them. And I just made a big envelope that's big enough to hold 5 by 7. I think it's like 5 1/8 by 7 1/8 or something like that, to just hold any other extra photos or ephemera or whatever I've got. And I made that with my envelope punch board. And then we get to the end. So that is my book. It is my Smash book from a Smash book, and I love this little book. Thanks so much for watching.